Hey you guys, welcome to my YouTube channel. If you're new here, hi, my name is Tosheanna. If you're not new here, welcome back to my YouTube channel. I miss you guys so much. But anyway, I'm going to be giving you guys a story time on how I lost my virginity. Now, I'm going to tell you guys this right now. This story was very interesting. We're about to get into it. Before we get started, make sure you give this video a big fat thumbs up. Let's get on to the story time. Okay, so this took place back in 2016. It was my first relationship. I'm not even gonna lie to you guys. I don't date people. I really don't take people serious. I was 15 and I remember it was this dude. Give you guys a backstory on like how me and this dude actually started dating. Basically, before me and him started dating, he was actually dating someone else. And throughout the entire school year, he was dating a girl. You know, we was in the same class. Like, we was always around each other. We had kind of like the same friend group. Me and him always argue, always like fight all the time. And most of the time, he will always cause the argument. He would like also like flirt with me. In my head, I'm thinking like, don't you have a girlfriend? I just don't understand. It just didn't make no sense. After a while now, actually starting to like him, like started to catch feelings for him. And I'm like, I know this is bad. I'm just like, why am I catching feelings for someone that already is in a relationship? Out of nowhere, I don't know how they broke up, but they broke up. That's when it was this one day we was in class, we was doing group projects, and I was sitting down, and then I got up to go throw something away. Then I see him coming towards me, like he pretended like he stumbled on me, and he grabbed my waist. I was just like, are you good? And he was like, yeah. I'm like, okay. And then I just threw my stuff in the trash and I sat back down. Then he started talking to my friends, and he was basically saying he had a crush on me. At the time, I didn't know him and the girl broke up. So I'm thinking to myself, like, what is going on? Fast forward, my friends basically was trying to get me and the dude together. And I'm just like, I don't really know about this because he just got a relationship and he might still have feelings for the other girl, because you know they've been dating for like this entire school year. They was like, no, he really do likes you. No, he knows your favorite color. What's your favorite food? Me, back then, I fell for that. But me now, I'm just like, okay, he know my favorite color. He know my favorite food. Okay, what else? It's not that hard to know. You just act. When they told me that, I'm like, oh my God, he actually listens to me, like knows stuff about me. Maybe I should give this dude a chance. That's when me and him start texting each other on Kik. That's when Kik was popping. You know, he asked for my number. I gave him my number, and then we moved our conversation through iMessage. And then at this time, we're talking, really get to know each other. The talking stage was quick because he asked me out like, I think a week later to be his girlfriend. Once that happened, everybody knew in the whole school. I'm just like, here we go. And mind you guys, I'm the type of person, I don't like attention and I don't like when people know my business. So it was this one day where we was on not the best of terms. Like me and him got into this argument. Later on that day, he tried FaceTiming me, and I guess I missed it because I was downstairs. But I had came back upstairs, and that he had called me. So I'm like, okay, let me call him back. So I called him back, and it was real quiet on the phone. I'm just like, I said, hello? Are you going to leave me? And I'm just sitting here like, no. Like, what are you talking about? And I'm like, we had one argument, so what? When he was like, don't leave me. Oh, it sounded like he was crying. And I asked him like, are you crying? He was like, yeah. And I'm just like, but why though? And that's when he was like, I have something to tell you. Then this dude said he was in love with me. And I'm thinking that he expected me to say I love him back, which that was not true, and I was not in love with him. I said, okay. We just fell asleep on the phone. A couple days later, we was at a field trip, and this dude was acting weird, like he was acting distant, and I didn't understand why. So I talked to him, I said, are you good? And he was like, yeah, I'm good. I'm just, you know, it's one of those days where I just want to stay to myself. After school, y'all, I don't know why, but that day, everything went downhill for me. Like, I was having the worst luck. I come back to the house trying to open the door. I left my keys at the school, so I was locked out the house. Wait a minute, we got a window that's probably open. So I had to climb through a window to get inside the house. And I realized my room was locked up too. I couldn't get in my room, and I was just so frustrated. And then to top it off, I get a phone call from the dude or whatever. He basically saying like, matter of fact, I need to get him a name. His name gonna be Ty. So basically, Ty called me, was like, oh, I kissed someone. I said, so who did you kiss? And he was like, basically the girl he was with before me. I'm just like, so when did this just happen? Just 5 minutes ago. Well, I said, wow. Okay, so I hung up the phone. Disappointed. Not really. Like, it's like the relationship was new, so it's not like we was dating for a long time. I was like salty a little bit because I'm just like, but you just said you was in love with me. That's how I knew that was some BS. We had separate ways, and he was trying to contact me, call me. He told my friends. You know, my friends was like, girl, you should give him another chance. You know, everybody makes mistakes. You know what? I'm not gonna give him another chance. Y'all, I took this dude back, and ever since that had happened, me and him was cool. Like, we was back on good terms. We got back together, and ever since then we was together for the rest of the school year. Ty actually met my family, and my family they liked him, so it was good. It was all positive vibes. Everybody got along. There was no, like, you know, negativity. And mind you guys, I like to have people out my business because I didn't even tell them about how I got cheated on by him. So, and ever since that happened, me and him, he will always come over and he would watch movies. I think it was like the end of May. He had asked me this question, and this one was on FaceTime because I think it was playing like 21 questions. He was like, can I be the guy to take your virginity? I said, yeah. Asking myself, are you a virgin? He was like, yeah. We had met at a park. That was normally our thing. We would always go to a park or come over to my house since he knew my family. One day, we went to the park and everything was cool. We would always kiss, we would always make out and stuff. This day was very interesting. We was making out and he like was trying to make me like touch his thing or whatever, and I'm just like, I don't want to do that. Then he tried, like, you know, to touch my private area. I'm just like, no. I'm like, I'm not ready for that. And then he was like, oh, I thought you would want to because you know our conversation. I'm just like, well, I did say that, but not right now. It's not the right time. He was like, okay. We was walking back to the house and I was on my phone, you know, like pretending like I was texting somebody, but really I wasn't really texting nobody. He grabbed my phone and then he stuck it in his pants. Well, I thought he stuck it in his pants. He didn't really stuck it in his pants, but it looked like he stuck it in his pants. Really, it was behind his, I don't even know, I think it was in his pocket. I'm like, give him my phone. That's when he was like, no, you have to get it. That's the one thing I don't like was when someone takes my phone. I'm just like, don't touch my phone. I thought it was in his pants. That's when I touched his like private area. It was like, psych, it was in my pocket. You wanted me to dig in your pants. And I pushed him and I said, I want to go home. That happened. Then we squashed it. Everything was cool. Then later on that day, we was on the phone just like, I'm sorry for what I did. I didn't mean to hurt your feelings. I was just trying to play a prank on you. And I'm just like, it's fine, it's fine. But really it wasn't. Okay, so back then I was the type of person that would let people walk all over me. So I didn't really tell them like how I really felt about the whole situation, but it wasn't really fine to me. I remember we started talking about like sex, we was gonna do it. He basically was trying to see like when we was gonna do it. And I'm just like, well, when the time comes, you know, I don't want to rush things. And he was like, okay. One day he had came over, either go to the park, but today he wanted to come over to my house and we watch a movie. We was laying down and Emily was in the kitchen. I remember we was like kissing or like making out or something. We was doing something. He actually whispered in my ear because I think one of my cousins was like sitting there. He was like, we should go do some stuff, like, you know, like have sex. And I was like, maybe another time. I brushed it off and he looked at me like, but ever since then, I said maybe later, maybe next time. Every time this dude would come over, he would always ask that same question. I'm just like, why is it not clicking in his brain? Like, I didn't want to do it. I should have just told him that I did not want to do it. I didn't want to hurt his feelings. I'm a type of person that will put people's feelings in front of mine. It was like the end of June and we were spending time with each other like every single day. And today we decided to go to the park. It was on a bench. It was like this big old tree and we went under the tree because we wanted some shade. We had started making out. He asked me like, oh, we should go somewhere no one is around. And I'm just thinking to myself like, oh, you know, you want quality time just with me and you don't want people to look at us because we was like little kids. I had just turned 16. And I'm pretty sure he was 16 too. Me being naive, I'm like, okay, we can go somewhere that's private. Walked out of the park and went by my house. It was a YMCA. Okay, so it was a church, then it was a YMCA. The YMCA had like a playground in the back. And then it was another church across the street. He was like, oh, we should go over here. And it was the side of the building at the YMCA. And we sat down And I remember I was on my phone. He was looking at me, and then he started like rubbing my leg, and then that's when he started making out with me. Yeah, I pulled my pants down. He ate the box. And at first, when he started like, you know, licking down there, it was weird. I'm not even gonna lie to you guys, it tickled. I wanted to laugh. I was just like, in my head, I'm like, is this really happening? He whipped out his dingling and he tried to stick. I said, wait. And I was just like, oh, I gotta go home. He was like, okay. I was not ready for this. I got the wrong impression. I didn't think that he was trying to actually like have sex. He had finally left from my house. I had instantly called one of my friends. I'm just like, girl, guess what just happened? Or everything. Like, oh my God, Tasha, I can't believe you almost had sex. And I said, yeah. She said, but are you ready though? And I was just like, I feel like if I have sex, I feel like I was going to regret it. Shana, that doesn't sound like you're ready. And I'm just like, you're right. And then she was like, maybe you should talk to him and tell him that you're not ready to like have sex. And then she asked me, was like, was his thing big? And I said, no. Y'all, it wasn't that big, but you know, I really cared about him, so I didn't really care about, you know, the size. As soon as I got off the phone with her, he FaceTimed me and was like, oh, what you're doing? I'm just like, oh, nothing, you know, just trying to start the conversation up. Start up the whole conversation, us being back there. Basically, we was outside. He brought up a situation up. We started talking about it. Told him, I didn't really tell him like everything, like I wasn't ready and stuff. I basically said, when the time comes, let's not rush things. Let's take things slow. And he was like, okay. I'm thinking me and him on the same page here. Like, I'm thinking to myself, like, I don't want to lose my virginity outside, you know? I don't want to lose my virginity behind the building. We was in my house, and then I think I was on top of him. You know, he was feeling my boobs. He was like, I want you now. And that's when I was just like, okay. As I said that, I'm like, why the fuck did I just say that? I had sex at my house because, one, I can get in trouble by that. Left the house and we went to the same spot that we was before. I was super nervous. In my head, like, oh my God, I should tell him. But I'm like, I don't know how he's gonna react. So he laid me down. We started making out. You know, he pulled my pants down. He ate me out. He had whipped this thing out and then he tried to stick it in, but I guess it slipped. Y'all, like, when I tell you guys, it was not meant to happen. The struggle was real. I'm laying down like this. He stuck it in, but I guess it slipped. So he was just ready. Like, this dude was very, very horny. Basically, it was like by my stomach and then like above my vagina, and he was doing this basically. Like, I tried to tell him, I said tie. I looked up like tie. It's like, oh my gosh, wait, hold on. Like, y'all, his face was red, and I pushed him off, and I'm like, I don't want to do this no more. I just want to go home. I sat on the swings, and I was just very disappointed. I'm just like, is this the right thing? Like, what am I doing? Like, do I really want to do this? I'm a Gemini, so I'm an air sign. We always think. And sometimes we overthink, and that's what I was doing. And then that's when he walked up towards me and was like, you want to head back to the house? And I'm like, yeah. We walking. He had stopped me because we was like literally right around the corner from my house. He had stopped me and was like, wait, Tosheanna. I was like, what? This dude started crying. He was basically saying, are you going to leave me? I'm like, what are you talking about? No, I'm not going to leave you. And he gave me a hug and then a kiss on the forehead. After he left, I was just like, that was super weird. It reminded me of when he had FaceTime me, he was crying, he told me he was in love with me. I knew something was wrong with him. Like, he had like abandoned issues. I felt bad. He doesn't want me to leave him. I really cared about him. So I'm just thinking to myself like, okay, you know, I gotta be real generous with him. We got on FaceTime each other and basically talk about the situation, and I just told him, don't listen to me. He was like, I'm sorry about that, I will listen to you more. We pushed through that, right? Since then, I was really trying to avoid the whole sex stuff. Every time he would come over, he would always try to ask me, oh, let's do it again. I never say no to him. I didn't want to hurt his feelings. So I would always be like, maybe next time, maybe another time. He started acting weird. Like, he started acting distant towards me. I was really confused on why he was being distant towards me. I tried to talk to him, but he was really ignoring me. He sent this big paragraph talking about how I always say no to him.
Y'all, he basically was trying to make me feel bad, make me feel guilty about saying no, about me having sex with him.
Always pleasing me and stuff. I'm just like, what are you talking about? He broke up with me saying, I'm done with this relationship. Tell you guys, my feelings was fucking hurt. Like, did Ty just really break up with me? I'm gonna lie to you guys. Like, I shed a few tears, not a few tears, a lot of tears. Like this ugly crying face. I was so mad. The next day, I woke up, had bags under my eyes, I had crust like on the side of my face. I said, oh my God, look a hot mess. So I took me a shower. Like, I took me a long ass shower. And I'm like, you know what, Tosheanna? He don't want you. Oh, well, you were fine before you met him. Let me just, freshen up, do my hair, start posting on Snapchat. And I was talking to my friend, tried to text me, and I left him on R because I'm just like, I don't want nothing to do with you. It's like the next day, I was in the drive-thru with my mom and my cousins, and I remember we were about to get some Wendy's. So he had called me. I'm looking at my phone, I'm like, this dude is calling me. I said, what do you want? He was like, oh, I miss you so much. Breaking up with you, just basically trying to win me over. He already won me over when he called me and when he said he missed me. My walls just left, and I'm like, I miss you too, Ty. I miss you so much. My mom looked at me and rolled her eyes like, girl, what are you doing? And I'm like, Mom, no, you don't understand. We instantly got back together. He promises to me, like, saying we're gonna be together forever. It's Friday. We're gonna go to the park. We're gonna spend all day together. I was so excited. I'm like, yes, I got my man's back. When he broke up with me, I felt like I knew I felt for him. Like, I really was, I don't know if I can say in love. I feel like because I was so young, I didn't know what love was. And I so I'm thinking like, I really like this dude. I was head over heels for him. Friday comes, he came over, he knocked on my door. I was standing by the door waiting on him. Like, I instantly knew like he was upset about something, and I'm like, what's up with you? And he was like, nothing, something's going on in my house. If you need to talk about it, I'm always there. And he was like, yeah, this day to be about us and not about my problems. I'm like, okay. So we head into a park. I got cute for him. I did my edges, and I curled my hair up. Soon as I turned the corner, I see my edges curled up. 100 degrees outside, so hot. It was so hot outside. Like, we was by this church. Like, basically we was by the church, the two churches, and then we was by the YMCA. And we sat down by the church that across the street from the YMCA. And I'm like, maybe we shouldn't go to the park today. And he was like, really? I said, yes. And I said, because it's hot. He was like, yeah, you're right. I was like, maybe we go to the YMC park. And then that's when he was like, okay. We went across the street, and then we was playing at the park. We swing on the swings. We just having a good time. We started making out. We popped up the question again. And now this time, you guys, I'm thinking in my head like, I don't really want to lose him. Like I said, I was head over heels for him, and I wanted to do anything to make him happy. He asked me the question. I remember like staying off out of space, like really trying to like, think about it. Let's do it. We went back there on the side YMCA building, and mind y'all, it was concrete. How this was going to work. Sat down, we was talking, started making out, and then he did the same thing, pulled my pants down, and then he eat me out. I'm laying down like this, okay, y'all, I'm laying like this. He had like, stuck it in there, right? And he asked me, he said, is it in there? And I'm thinking to myself like, I think so. I tell you guys, I told y'all earlier, like, it wasn't that big, so I didn't really feel anything when he had stuck it in there, right? I asked him, I said, does it feel like you're in there? And he was like, yeah. And I'm like, okay then. So I asked him, I said, I need you to go slow. He was like, okay. He's on top of me, he's going. He started moaning. So I'm thinking to myself like, okay, it must have felt good for him. When I tell y'all, when he was like going back and forth, it felt like, okay, so say if you have a nail and then you start scratching yourself and going like this, that's exactly how it felt. It didn't hurt that bad. It didn't feel good too, if that makes sense. It didn't hurt, it didn't feel good. I heard him start moaning. I'm like, okay, maybe that's it. That's how sex goes. Like, I have to moan with him. I instantly started moaning because I'm being like, okay, that's what I have to do. I don't want to be dead silent because I was looking at him like this. Like, I don't know what else to do. He started going fast. Like, he started going fast. I'm like, wait a minute. I didn't get the memo. Like, I thought I clearly told you to go slow. Like, y'all, his face was like red. His eyes was closed. Like, he was enjoying it. And I was just sitting there like, pretend like, try to moan. I'm like, because I didn't know how this goes. Then he stopped, and then that's when he started eating me out again. Then he went back and started going at it again. Then he started eating me out again. As he was eating me out, he was like, did you come yet? I'm like, no. He said, were you close? I said, no. Like, at this point, y'all, I'm ready to be done with this. Start going at it again. Said he was about to come. Like, he was about to come. He just kept saying, like, oh my God, I'm about to come. I'm about to come. Like, he was yelling it out. And I used protection. So I'm like, is he about to try to come at me? I said, oh no. So I pushed him off. He was like, I said, go ahead, bust or whatever. Like, you know, come or whatever. Stop. And he started beating his meat out again. I'm just like, what? And then that's when he had looked, and then that's when he saw the blood. He was like, and I was like, what? Bleeding. And then I freaked out. I'm just like, I just want to stop. And then he was like, okay. Instantly put my clothes back on, and I waited for him to get done beating his meat. This experience was not what I thought it would be. We went back to the house, and as soon as we were about to, like, you know, turn the corner, I instantly saw my dad's car right there. I'm like, okay, I said, we gotta make a detour and go through the back way. He was like, why do we have to go to the back way? I said, because my father's here. He was like, oh, maybe I should meet. I said, no. Not at this time. I'm like, I just lost my virginity. We went inside, and I said, I'll be right back. I had to go upstairs. So I instantly like seen it in my underwear, like it was blood, and then it was blood in my vagina. So I cleaned up, and then I went back downstairs. He was like, you okay? And I'm like, yeah. Like, I felt like my aunt knew something was up, because the way she was looking at us, like, she's like, they look suspicious. Like, they looked like they was up to something, which we was. Like, I was like, do you think she know that we did something? And then he was like, what, that we had sex? Like, he said it so loud, I wanted to freaking slap him. He went outside on the porch, and we were just talking, and he asked me, like, oh, did I enjoy it? I'm just like, I said it was okay. And then I said, what about you? He said, oh, it was great. Thinking like, okay, great. It didn't add up. So I didn't tell none of my friends that we did it. I didn't tell my mom. I didn't tell my sisters. I didn't tell nobody that I was not a virgin no more, because I was in shock. I can't believe I did that. I was just like ashamed, because I lost my virginity outside behind the building. That's not what I wanted my experience to be. But you know, you live, you learn. We end up breaking up. He broke up with me, and like, he started dating someone at the school, and basically telling everybody that me and him had sex, and everybody knew about it. Everybody was talking, like, telling my business. It was so embarrassing for me. I finally told my friends the truth. We had sex. I don't know why we broke up, but it was something stupid. And then we got back together, and then we broke up. We got back together. It was just on and off, on and off, on and off. So this was a toxic relationship.
The reason why I said the relationship was toxic, because like, I felt like after he got what he wanted, he started treating me like shit. He wasn't acting like himself when we first had started dating. And during my sophomore school year, he used to like go back and forth with me and this girl. Like, he would break up with me, and then he would go back to this girl, and then he would date other people. And then, you know, it was just like the relationship was toxic, and it was just like I didn't know my worth, and it took that relationship for me to know my worth.
And I learned from it. I know when a guy shows their true colors, hit the dough. Like, you don't need him. Like, if I would have had, you know, really talked to my younger self, I would be like, girl, you can do better. And it taught me to stand up for myself, because y'all, I was definitely a pushover. I was always a people pleaser. Back then, I'm always trying to do the most. I'm always trying to do 150% when it comes to a relationship. So I deserve more, and I didn't realize that. And I know to set boundaries for myself when it comes to relationship, because I don't want people to walk over me, because I am a nice person. The only reason why I told the story time, because all the young girls out there, if you're trying to have sex with someone just so you can please them, don't do it. Because if a person really loves you, or a person really cares about you, they wouldn't rush or anything like that, and they will really take their time with you. Yeah, that is it with this story time. I hope you guys enjoyed it, made to the end, which I do appreciate. Make sure you give this video a big fat thumbs up, and subscribe to my YouTube channel if you're new here. Hope you guys enjoyed it, and peace. Bye, you guys. Mwah.